You made us go. Yes, you did.
Well, really, Stuart,
No.
they made us go, because without them, we are barely even us. I mean, our families think we're us, but everyone else that knows us,
Thanks for an asshole.
well, not the ones we've met in person, except that one guy who had no reason why. We told the story often. It's just a funny story. I'm looking forward to Vegas again at some point, because I brought one costume last time because we were doing a lot of filming. Like, that was a more production-y side one. But if you want to bring, because actually the camera's smaller this year, like the Black Magic is smaller, so it's more power, smaller body. But I bring more costumes. It'd be fun. And now you've got a bit more. Be good to do some more walking around and.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
There we go. Confusing start.
We're talking about Vegas next year, Steelio.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, they did move it to December, which is dumb. Which I don't think I would even go if it did go through.
Nobody can know.
The trouble I've seen, nobody knows.
But Steve Jobs. I don't know. But yes, we have Return Ed.
Oh, we have, yes. And you're not watching a holodeck simulation. This is us.
I think that's a variable thing. Yeah, we're here to talk about Star Trek once again. We took a break over the weekend, and you did some sort of Marvel shooty. What is this?
Yeah, tried out something. It was actually quite fun. Looking forward to the game.
I think that was delayed like months, or has it been months and it was delayed and now it's out?
I think it was delayed. It's still not out yet, though. I'm not sure what the release date is, but that's just the demo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a good idea to release something to get people interested in. If it can be done.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, we're doing a show, aren't we?
We are. Hi guys.
Hello.
Time for episode 21 of season 3.
Gosh, Stuart.
Holo Pursuits. And I love the dual nature of this title now. Never considered it till today. Holo, because they're holograms, and they're not really real people. They're just hollows. They're hollow. And then Pursuits, they're tracking down this problem, which I completely forget about every time I watch this goddamn episode. I know there's a problem, but I think it's something minor, and it seems to be minor, but it's like the A.5 plot, because it's just like it's there throughout the whole thing, but it's not really it's not really a thing until the end,
Well, it's a built-up mystery that you understand. Yeah. But sure, we've got some pre-chat super chats.
Oh, yes, we do.
So try them, then I'll share, because I can address anything that comes up. And then we'll talk about this introduction of a classic secondary. Or guest star, but you know what I mean.
Yes. Mark Lawrence puts in $5.
Thank you, Mark.
Says broccoli. Don't know why. I'm hungry for broccoli with cheese sauce. Sounds good. Olivia Julius, $5. Want to watch Holo Pursuits? Coming soon to Trekyards, Picard Fertilizer. Coming at some point. I won't say soon. Ozzy Maderos, $5. Hope Captain Foley had an awesome Father's Day yesterday, Skeleton Hands. I did. Thank you very much. I had my dad over and had some good barbecue, and it was a good time. So, and my kids came over too. Ozzy throws in $5. All hail the superior commander and Super Captain Foley, Skeleton Hands. Super Captain Foley, eh? I see what you're doing there. Sucking up. Olivia Julius, $2. Happy Father's Day to Captain Foley and Commander Data. Dodge and Soji, I guess. I don't know. Introvert invokes invisible Invidium. Nice name. $2. Guinan was cool with Barclay just as he was. Yay. And Tenchi 2K7. I like broccoli with cheese sauce. Yes, I'm from Wisconsin. So you're a cheesehead. I see how it is. It's fine.
Yeah, actually, I really don't mind broccoli. I'm on a lose weight thing, and just it's not a bad vegetable.
I prefer it raw, actually. I prefer a lot of vegetables raw, like cauliflower and stuff.
No.
I'll eat them all cooked, but I prefer them raw.
No, I go steamed because it keeps in the nutrition. But no, I can't eat carrots raw either. No.
I like carrots.
Because this is like it becomes yummy when you steam it. And it's just not when you not steam it. And so why would you not have the enhanced version? In my opinion, in my palate. But thanks, guys. The broccoli will come. So I'm gonna spin out. Start sharing with 55 people watching. I'd love to see 65, and only 31 likes. I'd love to see 40. There are the challenges. You guys can either reach them like broccoli does. Barclay does. That was a genuine Freudian slip there. Or not.
Mark Felipe, $2. Jordy wears correct uniform and 10 forward. See, what they should do is cut this Jordy out.
Yeah.
Put him into yesterday's Enterprise. He's sitting in the same spot, same lighting. Do it. Fix it. Yes.
Do it.
Anyway, he's going to go share, and we're going to talk. You and us. I am your captain, after all. I order you to hit the like button. Let's get those likes up. And as you saw, we got a bunch of great super chats already. We have to read your super chat question or comment out on the air. So if you want to say something or have your voice heard, be part of the community, be part of the conversation, super chats are a great way to do so. You can also send us a PayPal. Just let us know in the chat that you sent to PayPal, and we'll go check the email and read your question or comment from the email of PayPal as well. Lots of great ways to help out the channel. Another fun way to do it, if you join a lot of the lives, is of course head on over to this right beside the subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe. But if you have hit subscribed, there's another button there that says join. Click that. You can join the rank of commander, captain, or admiral, and you can be part of the conversation in a more fun way, because you get some cool emojis and stickers and stuff, and it's a great way to support the channel on a monthly basis, much like Patreon, which is also, the link for that is in the description down below of every video. Just head on over to Patreon/Trekyards, and you can help us there on a monthly basis as well. We actually got a new $15 patron today, which is great. It all adds up. It all helps us out in the end, and we love coming here every week, multiple times a week, and talking to you guys. And we couldn't do it without you guys supporting us. So we really appreciate all you guys do. So if you can, please help us out. Also, there's other stuff in the description of every video, including links to Teespring store, where we got a bunch of Trekyards stuff, a lot of cool Trekyards merchandise, and other cool stuff as well. You can save money on Eagle Moss models and all that jazz. So and expect more Eagle Moss reviews coming soon. I have some filmed. I just need to edit them. And yeah, I know I've been kind of slacking with the Eagle Moss reviews, but there's been reasons. And I also have I'll do a live soon. I just got my recent Eagle Moss shipment, and I'll share that with you guys live as well. So stay tuned for that as well. Not quite sure when, but Olivia Julia's $5. Was Captain Picard. Oh, there is no way Captain Picard could get Broccoli's name wrong. Right, Captain Foley and Commander Cookings. Right. That's true. Everybody hit like. If you haven't hit like's important. Jeff Jacobs, that's almost the correct code. It's Trekyards. I think you're missing an A there. But yes, Trekyards 10 is the code for that. So.
Alrighty.
Oh, he's back.
So yeah, Barclay, one of the well-known ones, and obviously known for his work on the A-Team. So considering the level that show was at its peak, this is a hell of a get. And obviously not the Whoopi Goldberg level of celebrity, but in terms of, I'm sure, people that know him could be more for Mr. Barclay, considering how many people watched A-Team over the course of its run, potentially.
I would think so.
And so I'm glad they got both together. I'm sure they're both quite chuffed. But yeah, what are your thoughts then on Season 3, Episode 21, Holo Pursuit?
It's a fun episode. I do like Barclay. I like the idea of Holo Addiction, because it's something that I think would be very real and present, and I definitely would have it. Jordy even says at one point, yeah, I fell in love in the Holodeck, but when it was time to end it, I ended it, said goodbye. So yeah, I can see that being a real issue, but then again, when it's everyday tech, it's like kids being addicted to their phones. My son, who's basically grown up with a smartphone, he's 15, I'll message him and he won't see it, and I'll be like, "Where's your phone?" Oh, it's over. You know, he doesn't have it with him all the time. So when you grow up with it, it's different. So it's hard to say, but the Holo Addiction thing is an interesting idea for
And
sure.
it's not just that, but it's like kind of like a car. Well, yeah, it's kind of like a car, right? Obviously, a car's been around for hundreds of years, or 100 and whatever years. Doesn't mean you're going to drive the next town over because you want to. It's so commonplace you don't think about it. So Holodeck doesn't mean you're going to use it every day because it's just like, I mean, you've got it, but it doesn't mean you're going to use it,
Well, that's like my Camaro, though. I'll just randomly one night go out for a drive for like an hour.
Yeah.
Just because it's a nice car. That's kind of an addiction, I guess. But
addiction you've got control over. Also, who do you tell your wife?
She's the one that tells me to go for a drive. She's like, "You're in a bad mood. Go for a drive. It'll cheer you up." And I'm like, "Okay."
What else do you think about the episode? I mean, any other thoughts?
Well,
I mean, did you always like it as one that memorable, less memorable? Like, where did it stand on the overall scales?
It's always it's one of my favorites. That's not like a major episode, but you get to meet Barclay. You get to see the crew doing alternate things, being alternate versions of themselves, which is always fun. And yeah, so it's one that I constantly forget. There's the other plot that Barclay has to help them solve. I always just think of the holodeck parts of it. So, but yeah, it's one of my favorite ones. I'll watch it. It's enjoyable to me. So yeah,
this one is funny because this is really, in a sense, the prequel to the Lower Decks episode. Because I was amazed how much time we spent not on the bridge. It was incredibly sort of down and dirty with the troops, to the point that Captain Troi got a role, and everyone, the captain got maybe 10 lines, max. That's fine. It was actually kind of refreshing to see the crew in this more real way, to the point where we got to see all of Geordie's secondary crew. Although ironically, the guy that he makes Geordie go with is like a murderer or a stabber guy in later episode. Like he's an alien that does bad things, which is kind of weird to see him on the staff now, but whatever. So it's kind of like that weird. We don't see the ship like this ever, but it's really interesting, and it is definitely Joy's episode, as in he's the mentor. It's definitely a fun one. I think it's a more memorable than fun episode because you remember all the moments, but really it's kind of a sad episode if you think about it. This man is a self-fulfilling prophecy of he's not confident and he drives people away, which leads to him driving people away, which leads to him being more nervous and uncomfortable, which then leads and he's never quite lived his life properly. And while he might be good at what he does, he has to have the right environment to deal with it, and so that's sad. And only until the end you see he's actually good at his job, but even that, he's only offering one suggestion that happens to be right. Everyone offers suggestions, so he's one of the team rather than particularly talented, which is fine. That's absolutely fine. But it's an interesting tale that you never really see in TNG. It's a very human tale, very grounded tale. It's sad. It's anticlimactic in a way, and Dwalt writes, he absolutely knocks out of the park with performance.
Well, going back to what you said, with the kind of seeing the lower decks aspect, yeah, it's cool seeing the staff meeting down in engineering that they have in the morning. What are we doing today? Thing.
8 a.m. Oh.
Yeah, that was fun. And another thing about this episode, I can kind of relate to Barclay a lot in this episode, because I've never really felt confident around people. I'm one of those people that when I go to a party too, I just don't like being there. I'd stand in the corner, looking at a plat. Like he says. So I can kind of relate a little bit to what he's going through. And so that's another reason that I think this episode stands out for me, because I get bored easily with jobs, and his whole performance review of just doing enough to get by and not exceeding in anything I can very much relate to. I know I have the capabilities to do some good stuff, but in a lot of my jobs, that was a lot of my performance reviews are like, you're just kind of doing the minimum to get by.
It does quantify. It gets more questions. The Enterprise is meant to be the cream of the crop. This man is not the cream of the crop. But then again, neither is any of Geordie's officers. From their introduction, you know what I mean? They're not cream. Are these waiters cream of the crop in the waiters? You know, it's fine to say that, but what is that line? He's not one of those people in this episode. That's fine, though. I mean, O'Brien, the cream of the crop. I mean, he's okay at his job, good even. So the scale is kind of weird. But even so, how did he get on board? You know, no one seems to know, and yet they all had to...
Score.
But if all his reviews are, he's okay, that's not the sort of person you have on the Enterprise.
Well,
so you wonder
they
how
kinda,
and why.
They kind of talk about it. His last posting, like the captain said all these good things about him to Picard, and Riker's like, well, maybe he was just buttering our bread, you know, trying to get rid of his problem onto us. So it came with the captain's recommendation, and if he's got good test scores and stuff, which a lot of people like him do, they do really good on tests, get the good marks, but not necessarily performance-wise.
So you think it was one of the situations where Picard or Riker saw the reference and scores and didn't actually read he's not good with people, like the personnel. Maybe. So he said, oh, sure. It was a lazy Thursday. He said, oh, yeah, I'll accept those 3 people. Because he definitely shouldn't have been on the ship.
Yeah.
Like, I love him in, like, First Contact. The character's amazing, but, like, they don't do anything to dissuade us thinking he's not really capable of being there. He is later. But from this appearance, because the Riker was the captain just leading them on to get... The way they say it, the way they lead the scene, it is. He is just leading them on. Like, it's heavily implied, yes, he was kind of screwing with them to get him on board, because they don't really want him anymore.
Yeah.
Which is sad, you know? So it's very relatable, because it's they don't really give you the answer beyond, yeah, he's probably not the best.
Yeah.
But we're all a bit like that sometimes. Yeah.
Olivia Julius throws in $5. Just remember, he's one of the few people that met the man who invented warp drive. Well, not yet. He isn't, but yeah, he will be. And Olivia Julius, another $5. USS Voyager is the Reginald Barclay. USS Voyager. This is Reginald Barclay with Starfleet Command. Come in, Voyager. Oh, too early? Yeah, I love how this is one of the characters that kind of goes to other series as well, which is really nice. So,
and he's great in those. I mean, this is a brilliant origin story. It really is, and they give him a lot of time. But yeah, he's brilliant in Voyager, and the other ones. He's a great recurring. I mean, when you see him in Pathfinder, he's excellent. Like, that's the whole point, you know. So there's a really good arc. He's probably got the biggest, like one of the biggest arcs of any secondary character. I mean, there
possibly.
Tasha, you could kind of say, given she was main and then dead and then back as a secondary. You know,
yeah.
But there isn't many that are this. I guess Martok as well, but he got way more episodes, so it's kind of, you know.
Yeah. James McGill, $5. A fun episode, an interesting new average Joe character, yep. Barclay. He may be only guest character that was in TNG, DS9, and Voyager, as well as First Contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The movie, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There you go.
But I do like this episode for sure. But I think it stands up more on its... It doesn't wow you with anything, but it's really solid. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely a strong setup and payoff that I think you always forget, like you said, always forget about.
Yeah.
Like they are literally like 45 seconds from death again. You know? There's no small stakes this week.
That's very true, yeah. You kind of forget about that, though, when you think about this episode. You know what I'm saying?
As we also forget about the first scene where Barclay is getting drunk on sarsaparilla in the Western bar, and he tells Geordie to F off. He's a dickhead. Pushes him against he has a strength of 10 men. He pushes him against the chair. The chair collapses, the room shakes, and the Enterprise drops out of warp because the power of that smash forces nature to bend around him, and in response Riker turns in and he's like, what are you doing? And suddenly Riker, the tallest man on the bridge, he's as short as he is stupid, and he gets taken for a ride by our wonderful Barclay, the most arrogant but brilliant man in the Western, before he walks off to the damsel and she quivers for him, and then he goes to work and gets berated for being an idiot. How do you summarise the start, Stuart?
Perfectly, just like that. That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's... anyway, yeah. So she starts out where Guinan's like, I don't want any trouble, Barclay. And he's like, I'm not going to cause any trouble. And she's like, well, wherever you are, trouble follows. Geordie comes in, you're late for your shift. He's like, yeah, so what? Insubordination, Mr. Barclay. and you're nothing but a pretty mannequin in a fancy uniform. And pushes him down. If Picard has a problem with me, you tell him to come talk to me himself. It's like, okay, whatever. Well, actually, he says that to Riker. Sorry, after Riker gets up and comes over after he pushes Geordi. Yeah. Anywho, and then he goes and talks to Counselor Troi. He's like, I feel your confidence. It excites me.
Oh, it's a brilliant opening. It's a brilliant because you can tell instantly there's something wrong, but this is the very Orville opening. It's allowed to go to the extreme, and I absolutely adore the way you see two very distinct acting choices by Dwight. I'm the confidence man with playing a voice, and I'm the exact opposite. It's very it's very interesting, and it takes away some of the power of the last scene because you know instantly what's happening because he's speaking like confident him. But it's fun, and as an introduction, you're like, oh god, this guy's gonna be a real bleep, and that's the point. It's very clever, very very clever.
I love how he gets Riker in a headlock too. It's like, really?
And just to make the guy shorter, and it's super subtle that he's just taller. It's really subtle the way they play that in the scenes, but it's a nice little thing. It's absolutely there, and yeah, it's very clever.
Yeah. Anywho, he gets called to Cargo Bay 5, and he ends the holodeck simulation.
Yes.
Which is cool. That's a really weird screenshot. How'd that happen? I want to throw lines on it. Anyway, yes, got down to Cargo Bay 5. Yeah, and they mentioned that they've got these medical samples. They're on their way to deliver them. And Riker and Geordi are talking here, and Geordi's like, I don't know what to do with him. He's always late. Never gives his best efforts and just slides by. My notes are a mess. I'm going to give up on those for a second. I need to reconfigure my brain. Hold on a second.
Okay, let me take over. So yeah,
yes.
Medical research samples, great moving forward. It feels very incidental, but it's important, but they do make a distinct point of showing everything that's important. So instantly there's a leak, and then Mr. Engineer that we see throughout the entire episode. Then is look, he's touching a thing. Look, it's important. Maybe, who knows, whatever. And you do get this odd thing of them. The fact being that yes, there isn't just Barclay's mediocre. He's actively late, and he's actively doing the wrong things. And so it's weird to see the contrast between Barclay's the hero of the first scene because these guys are douchebags. Turns out Barclay's 100% in the wrong, at least in terms of his actions. Maybe vibe-wise they're not respecting him properly, but he hasn't earned the respect first of all. But Barclay is not doing his job properly, and obviously Riker, who's not dealing with him personally, is just seeing you're on report 33 times in a month. Unacceptable. Yeah. And Dory's like, who even is this guy? And it's a good setup. It's a very unusual setup. We've heard that in TNG they don't have interpersonal conflicts, and so to be this brazen about I just can't deal with him. Like, it's very jarring considering what we have, and that tells you how bad he is because they would not have said for anyone else in the sense of in season 1 or season 2. So it's a very strange opening, and it definitely doesn't give Barclay anywhere near a good start, which is why the build is great, but it's very and the fact that he even he's so unconscious of what he's doing. Sometimes he walks in, even though the door makes a huge he's like, I'm gonna hide behind thing. They see you, Barclay, they've heard you can't hide behind a lot of weird stuff in the intro, but it's a good setup for sure.
Well, this is the first time that we hear broccoli as well, because Riker says it and goes, that's what Wesley's been calling him, but keep it to yourself. And Geordi's like, is it a problem to arrive on time? And he's like, no, I had an important communique. I don't want to hear it.
Yep.
There's been an intermittent problem with this grav unit. I want you to take care of it. And then Riker's like, I'm sick and tired of seeing your name on reports. This is the Enterprise. We have a different standard here. Understood?
Which is nice that that's the point. And you can imagine, especially if you went out on a limb. I mean, wouldn't have been fun actually if Sonia was in the repair team, the woman who was really happy to be here.
Yeah.
Almost, I mean, Wesley was fine, But if it had been her instead, coming back, that would have been kind of cool to see like the two versions. One is too enthusiastic and makes a fool of herself for too enthusiastic. One is not enthusiastic and makes a fool of himself for being not enthusiastic. That'd have been kind of interesting thing. But yeah, it's a very strong intro and a little bit uncomfortable in a way as well. You know?
Mm-hmm. Olivia Julius, $10.
Oh, thank you.
So, are all the Enterprise crew members available as characters on the holodeck? I wonder how many crew members have went to the holodeck, created their commanding officer, and simulates beating them up. I mean, it's funny because in Deep Space Nine, Quark's trying to get a scan of Kira for that one guy's holodeck program, and so it's not on file. Might have been a result of this actually, because Riker says at one point, against regulations to use crew members in the holodeck, and Geordi's like, "There's no regulation for that." He's like, "There should be."
Well, I think it's one of those things that you just wouldn't think of it, and this is a world where people are nicer, people are better, and so most people of the normal side would not put the holodeck him in the holodeck to go beat him up or stab him. They would not. Barclay is not normal or okay. He deals with things out of time. He's not of this era in a sense. So he's dealing with it especially. That's why it hasn't really come up before. And I think we have more respect. Yes, why wouldn't you beat everyone in your, Captain Picard gets stabbed every week on the holodeck by some crew member that hates him. But that's not, people are better than that. Maybe the odd person, but it's not the norm.
Well, the thing is, too, like even today, I mean, if you have an issue with somebody, you can write a story about them. Where you do the same thing to them, right? You can hurt them in a story to get it out on paper, to get it out, out of your head. So you can't control what people do. They can even make your character in a game.
Yeah. And
like,
I mean, the
game,
closest example is The Sims, right?
Yeah.
I know when I played The Sims, I wanted to put everyone who I know, because then you have the extra meta game of who matches with who killed. Like that's a fun game within a game. I'm not trying to make my friend dumb bang my friend dumb. I don't care. That's not the point. Just see what happens. But I mean, I guess they're also, you're right. They're also enlightened enough to know, as long as it doesn't interfere with your work or your responsibilities in the real world, it's fiction. How many people do we kill in video games on a monthly basis? We don't go out and murder people. So there are distinctions.
Mm-hmm.
But I would assume that inventing people of the crew is not the norm. That said, training program we saw Troi use, and it was that was designed to be with the crew in mind. So
introvert evokes invisible video, $2. Barclay is 6'1". He made Riker shorter in the first scene. Yeah, and on the holodeck later.
That's brilliant.
Olivia Julius, $2. This is why you wear proper PPE, personal protective equipment.
Well, it wasn't harmful. That was the point. Nothing about it was harmful. It was scanned. It was confirmed. It was because it was a very a thing you never think of. So yes and no. Like it was scanned, decontaminated, and in an antibacterial room.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And Olivia throws in another $5.
Ooh, thank you.
The commander rescinded the recommendation to not have the crew on the holodeck after seeing Troi as a woodland goddess. Yes, he did. that was funny. Yeah. Anyway, so we get the opening credits, and then we get the he fixed the anti-grav, but he didn't. He said it looks fine, and then it shouldn't do that. Yeah, no kidding. So yeah, there you go. That's a cool anti-grav sled, by the way.
It is, and yet more people contaminating the ship now. Oh dear. It's a nice gentle build, and then we get basically, after we had the first conversation, it goes straight from maybe he's not meant to be here to Captain. We can't. We have to remove him. He can't.
Before the ready room scene, though, when he goes to check the sled again, he grabs one of the isolinear chips, and it's like hot, and he throws it out. So I don't know why the isolinear chips would necessarily be getting hot, but anywho, that indicates there's a massive problem.
Yeah.
I just didn't think isolinear chips got hot. Sorry, I had to point that out.
I mean, the whole point is that whatever this is not causing normal phenomena.
Yeah.
The whole point.
Well, I love going to the ready room scene for a second. The first line that Picard says, "I'm just not used to seeing an unsatisfactory rating on one of my crew."
Yep. What a lovely line.
Yeah. Yeah, so they go through the conversation. Is he actually Enterprise material?
Oh. Come on, Stuart, man. Your internet, you can do it. There he is.
I'm here. There I am. Not a banned account.
Oh.
$2. But Starfleet usually insults and transfers people.
That's gonna be in a second. Just talk about what happened in the scene, and I'll go on to that.
All right. Yeah. So he says, judging by your request to transfer him, I would think that you don't think he's the proper
You've
fit
answered
here,
the
Commander.
question, Geordie, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah. James McGill, $2. What you think Mirror Universe Barclay character be like? Well, if you read the Mirror Universe comics, you'd find out.
A ladies' man who owns a brothel of sex slaves who also are the best soldiers in that part of the quadrant.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, so Geordie's like, I don't understand this guy. Broccoli makes me nervous. He makes everyone nervous.
Broccoli?
Yeah, well, yeah. And he's like, yeah, young Mr. Crusher started that, sir. Seems it has caught on. Well, let's see that it gets uncaught on, shall we?
Yeah, that's really fun.
Which is great later. His ratings are always satisfactory when he served aboard this Zukov. Well, actually, they said his ratings have always been satisfactory, even when he served aboard the Zukov. Captain Gleason spoke quite highly of him before his transfer. We needed a diagnostic engineer. Maybe in retrospect, the captain was buttering our bread a little.
Good set of lines.
Yeah. It's all too easy to transfer a problem to someone else.
Yes. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room then.
Yes.
It's one of those ones where Major Grin had a great side-by-side. This is exactly what happened in 2019 with a short trek, a thing about Edward, which was the Tribble episode.
Trouble with Edward.
The entire point of the episode was that the new young captain hated him so much that every moment of the episode was trying to force him off the ship, saying she's not good enough, being rude to him, the entire crew mocking him, in the most disrespectful, abusive, uncaptainly way. And Major Grin has a great video showing this is how Starfleet deals with it. This is how Discovery writers deal with it. One is respectful, responsible, one is garbage. Now, while we find the episode fun and great in its own way, you look at the difference, and she's an awful captain who should never be captain, because if that's her opinion, in that universe, in that broken Trek universe, if you don't like somebody, fuck helping them. If they're autistic, if they need special help, if they're talented but you just don't want to help them, better get the problem off. And you come to Captain Picard, and he is actively ordering, but without ordering, because he's still respectful to his own crew, saying, Geordie, you can get through to this man. I know you can get through to this man.
Make him your best friend. Yeah.
Yes. I have seen this sort of man before across my travels. He needs a little bit of extra care. Please be that guy that gives him extra care. We do not give up on our own. We do not transfer problems. It's too easy. He's here for a reason. Let's see if he deserves that shot. It's absolutely night and day, and it's embarrassing to the Discovery team to write that. But what do you expect about Kurtzman? He hates people, or at least writes people that are hateful.
That's because he's not a person. He's an android, and not a well-programmed one.
Yeah. So well done, Captain Picard. It's a lovely. It's a morality tale, isn't it? This guy is clearly on the Asperger's spectrum, autistic spectrum. He's got Asperger's, relatively medium to high, depending on which part. And it's difficult. A lot of people can directly relate to Barclay, and a lot of us who can want to be on this ship. And it's like, is that how we'd react? Is that how it would be for us? But yet the people who are in charge will work with us to be better, as we would hope. So good for him, and it damns modern Trek. But again, you don't expect it from modern Trek to be sensitive, even though they prophesize, SJW style ideas. There's like one way of doing it and the right way of doing it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, but I like how Geordie says, or Picard says, he's part of your team, Geordie. Be his best friend. And Geordie's like, I can't even tolerate to be in the same room as him. Yes, sir.
And this is what's remarkable about this, is that Geordie is clearly not happy, and yet the next scene, he is practically awesome. Like, we know LeVar's a great actor, but the way he acts in the following scenes, he is so trying, but he genuinely means it. He never is out of frustration. Like, there's a lovely shift of, you know what? This is my responsibility. I will make the best of this. And he kicks ass. He's not doing it for spite, for hate.
Yeah.
Bloody good job for LeVar Burton. He nails this, like, support role. Really good job by him.
Well, I love when he walks in, he takes this deep breath, like, oh, here we go. All right. Ends up saying, yeah, I see we're in good hands here. Just make sure you get a preliminary report to me by the end of the day.
Well, no, he says whenever, and Barclay's the one who says, "Oh, by the end of the day." Like he lets Barclay be the positive source of information, rather than be Barclay. Get to me by the end of the day. Yes, sir. He's saying, "Right, Barclay, how's it going?" You know, it's a very distinct change in his leadership, and it obviously pays off because Barclay responds better. You know. Yeah.
And then he ends it by saying, "I'd really like you to sit in on the mission briefing with us in the morning. Just don't be late. 800 hours. See you there."
Yeah.
Eugene throws in 250 rubles. He's not making triples, so he's fine. Yeah. Russell Archer, $5. This pays off later for Picard, giving someone a small chance. Then Q putting Picard in the minor suite. Olivia Julius, $5. Is this before or after Picard found out what happened if he didn't get stabbed in the heart? This is way before. Way before.
But that's true. That is a good perspective point. Yeah. Yeah, and Tanzagari says, God handles the situation way better than the other captain. She assigns a biologist to climate research. Why would that person be suited? You know. Look, plumber, build this TV. Oh, you failed. Get the hell off my ship. Well, yeah. But yeah, it's a nice scene. And it did, you know, I wouldn't have liked necessarily being Dwight playing this nervous part for too long. It's because it's an arc, it pays off so well, you know? Like, it's not fun to watch Barclay when he's in his really nervous modes. But it's a, you know, it's a build. Yeah?
Then we get the staff meeting in the morning, and it's, you guys are going to realign the warp, yaddy-daddy-doo-doo, whatever.
Well, Barclay's almost late. He's late by a couple of seconds. You hear him run in, but it's just the right amount of late. Like, he's still there. You know, he does prioritize and he is there.
True.
Good for him.
True.
But everyone sort of looks down on him, but it is a nice little, like, of course he is, but he is here. So there's still a nice bit of, you know, part of the team still, which I like.
Yeah. I love how Jordy's like, he's working on the anti-grav problem, and all of a sudden Wesley just steps all over him. It could be this, could be that. No, it won't be that, you know, and it's like, I was going to do that, says Barclay, after the recommendation from Wesley, so.
I mean, that unfortunately is also relatable because Barclay can't speak quickly, and if you're a genius, you're thinking through a problem, and so a guy that can barely get one word every 3 seconds out, you know, it's hard, because obviously Wesley's just trying to help, he has no idea he's being annoying, but he's not in the context of helping everyone else, because even at the end, Barclay's trying to tell Picard, and he's telling him 3 times the information in 3 times the time, and everyone's like, dude, just say, you know, but it's like, yeah, but he is there, he's trying, and no, it's yeah.
The next scene, we're in the counselor's office, or are we? And I love how he's pacing back and forth, and he's like, I knew about the flux capacitor.
88 miles an hour, Stuart! It's the only way!
Should have told him to mind his own damn business. I didn't need to hear it from didn't need to hear it from a 17-year-old kid. And she's like, just let it go. It's, you know, let me help you relax. And then he's like, yeah, but I'm in the mood for something more unusual, or someplace more unusual. Computer run program, Barclay 15. So, and then the goddess of empathy shows up. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I said, the shift in acting is so remarkable, you know? And yeah, good art design with the forest of beauty and plenty. And yeah, Dwight gets a bit of some kissing, you know? Yeah, fun stuff. For him, I guess.
Well, yeah. So now we're in 10 forward, and Wes is like, I thought the mission or the morning briefing was to offer new ideas and suggestions. He's like, it is. You didn't do anything wrong, Wes. But Barclay is my new project. And and Wesley's like, and I shut him down. Poor Barclay. And Data's like, why is he being referred to as clandestinely as a vegetable?
Uh-huh.
It's a joke, Data, a nickname. Well, nicknames generally denote fondness shared between friends. And Geordi's like, yeah, that's another thing. The nickname stops here and now. Captain's orders.
And what's sad is that Wesley, like, he's been bullied his entire life. Yeah. And here he is doing a Barclay, which he knows is not a positive thing. If it was a positive thing, it'd be to his face. So I'm kind of surprised that, obviously Wesley wants to feel part of the team, but he's actively being everything he hates just to fit in, even though he also started it. He should know better. He got bullied. So, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But that also means he's more part of the team than ever before, because he can be the in-group messing with the out-group. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we get a glass issue. A major glass malfunction.
But it's a good scene, though, and this is why I'm going to say lower decks. A lot of this just, like, people who aren't the mains, I mean, obviously, Geordie is, having this conversation. It's very grounded. Very, very grounded.
But the nuclear synthesis broke down. The structure of the glass has been changed at the subatomic level, don't you know?
Sounds pretty fancy. I actually really like the glass prop. Being, I guess he didn't feel it smushing in his hand, I guess. It's cool, though. It's cool.
Then they talk about whether it's the replicator, and no, the drink was fine. Well, then the glass must have come into contact with an unshielded power source, and Geordie's like, God damn it. Now I got to check all 4,000 power systems on the ship.
Yeah.
But I've got the perfect man for the job.
It's my best friend, Barclay.
And Barclay's like, I was even going to do that because nothing else is explaining the anti-grav failure. So he was actually like, that was like his next step anyway.
And it's a fun scene. He's like, look at the warp core. For some reason, I don't know why, the warp core has nothing to do with it. And he's like, Barclay, you busy? He's like, no. It's like, why are you busy? Like, each one of you needs to be busy. What are you doing? But it feels quite genuine. It's like, yeah, And yeah, it's a really small payoff of, he already had that idea. That something about this all connects. It's a nice little rewarding moment of being able to tell Geordie, no, I was raring to go. Now I know we've often praised the procedural in that we like hearing the steps. Is this, because it does spend a lot of time with the team dissecting the problem. Was it good here? Did they do it well? Did you enjoy just the procedural seeing every step of the way, or is it a bit too much? Or what do you think for this one?
No, I enjoyed it. Because it's a weird problem, and I love how they go through the motions of what it could be. No, it's not the replicator. Let's rule that out. So I like it. I think it's good.
I would use the word it's rewarding.
Rewarding.
It isn't just Picard saying, Geordie, fix it. 5 minutes later, Captain, it's fixed. Warp 2.
Pretty much.
It's like, okay, good, cool. And it makes a single problem feel a lot more of a mountain.
Yeah.
And if you appreciate, he's a really talented guy with a really good team because he fixes everything every time. You know what I mean? Really talented guy.
And again, goes back to the lower decks thing. You see how the problems are solved, the team that works on it. You're not always on the bridge getting just the updates. You're seeing the whole thing, and I like that.
But it is so weird though to see, especially at the end, Riker and Picard playing no part in the story. Like, are they not going to try and solve the problem themselves? I know they're not necessarily qualified, but they're both engineering training. Like, they're just willingly sitting there waiting for death. Because in the last bit, they're going to die any minute, and they're just sitting there calmly waiting to die unless Geordie solves it. Like, talk about trust and like, well, I can't do anything, so why panic? You know what I mean?
That's your team's for. You got to trust your team when it's.
I know. Wouldn't you try and do something?
I'd run to the holodeck and
Well, no. Let's not talk about Troi again. The goddess of whatever.
Empathy.
Empathy. Yeah. Stuart.
Anyway, speaking of the bridge, we're on the bridge now. And Geordie's like, I normally wouldn't bring something like this minor to your attention, but actually it was Barclay who first thought there might be a link between, this and what's a link between the two, the grav unit and the glass.
Which is only half true though, because he points out, but Data's the one that makes a connection.
Yeah.
But
and Picard comes up and says, "Will operating procedures be affected by your testing?" I don't think so. We'll just shut down systems. No, I don't think so. And he gets it out. I mean, this is the head guy here.
And also, they're really patient. Like, no one cuts him off. It's he's taking too long, but everyone's very patient and yeah. And do you think that's his first time on the bridge? Like, beyond, like, orientation?
Probably.
I would assume so.
Yeah. And I love how Picard's like, I look forward to your report, Mr. Barclay. And then the look on his face, and everybody else, Riker's like, you were the one that ordered us not to do that. And yeah. And then Data's like, yeah, it's the most common of pronunciation failures, Captain, replacing the vowels. Shut up, Data.
This is the sort of scene that you pray for as the TNG cast. This little moment, because Pat, you've never seen Picard be like that much inner,
just
despair and like, oh my god, I did
open mouth, insert foot.
Yeah, I'm the worst captain in history. Now this is a double problem though. If Barclay hasn't heard this as a thing that people say, then obviously it's like, oh, the captain got my name wrong. He doesn't think of me to even know my name, which is sad. If he has heard this and he's saying, even the captain will use the insulting nickname behind... Oh, you know what I mean? It's bad on both levels.
Yep.
And it's like, ooh. And then looking at Data, and Data's like, oh, I'm going to stop talking and turn, is just beautiful. But it's cringe. It's a beautiful cringe.
It's a great scene. It really is.
Yeah.
And then Data's like, the look he gives Picard, like, it's okay. It's a mistake. Yeah. Next scene is down in 10 Forward, and it's Geordi talking to Guinan about Barclay, and she's like, well, he comes down here, he stands by the bar, he doesn't say much, he orders a warm milk, and Geordi's like, of course he does. Yeah, and then Geordi's like, he doesn't fit in here. I can't just give up on him. He's my problem. And she's like, he doesn't fit in here. Like Turkham, my mother's brother, which would be your uncle. The family misfit. I was told to stay away from you. He's a bad influence. But as it turns out, he's the only member of my family that has a sense of humor. Nobody ever stayed around long enough to find that out, except for me, though.
Yeah.
And Geordi's...
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Well, it's just a really special little story because we can all be like, yeah. Sometimes you've got to get through the shell, and the shell might be thicker than you'd like, but yeah.
And Geordi's like, he's always late and nervous. And she says, well, if I thought that people didn't want me around, I'd always be late and nervous too.
And he's like, shit, yeah.
Make them feel welcome, essentially.
But it is difficult. It's a very relatable situation.
It is, very much so.
It's like, the brutish jock who's mean to Peel because he feels not smart enough, and then Peel dumb him, like Peel talk down to him because he's being mean to them, and then it keeps cycling. How do you ever get out of that? And that's where obviously TNG is the optimistic. We're going to do better than. We're gonna be good. We're gonna be better. We're gonna work towards our problems, and it's aspirational. Yeah.
So Geordi asks the computer where Barclay is because he wants to go talk to him.
And it's so organic. Like you wonder how, but it's like, flows right in.
And no locks on the holodeck doors, which I guess makes sense.
I mean, he's got like one of the 4 highest ranks in the entire ship in terms of the thing. I mean, he's allowed emergency access.
But I wouldn't just walk in on somebody. It's not an emergency.
But you wouldn't. But the thing is, you wouldn't assume this is what he's doing. You'd assume he's doing a Sherlock Holmes or something of a playing a Holo novel. That you know what I mean. You wouldn't assume it was a deep dark secret. Because it's like, well, yeah, okay. So say, let's make a porn analogy, but I don't think I can make it good enough, so I'm not going to bother.
If it's his own time, like you don't just walk into somebody's house because they work for you, because they could be in their underwear, just sitting on the couch. That's kind of what I chalk it up to. Like,
yeah, but we're enlightened, so we're all okay with it. I guess. But it's like Canada though. It's like, yes, but he didn't lock the door because no one locks the door. He didn't lock out the holodeck. He didn't say only access to me. He left it open.
That's true.
That was his fault.
It is. Anyway, he goes in, sees Wesley, sees Dr. Crusher, and she's like, "Oh, Wesley, remember your manners, or Sir Barclay will spank you."
Yeah, I really wish we'd seen more of this Wesley, because he looks great. I mean, they all look great, but it would have been fun to like develop more in this character. But that said, we get great with Picard and stuff. I mean, hey, they also read the script and be like, "We're doing what? Okay, I am down for this. I will put on 99% more facial hair than I'm used to," says Patrick Stewart. "I never get to have any hair on the show, and now you want to put all the hair on? What is going on?"
And we got the fencer, the sword fighter, who's clearly not Barclay in quite a few scenes.
It works like 80% of the time, and considering what he's doing, that's still pretty good. I'm gonna give him that. I only noticed 3 times, so I'm gonna give him credit for that.
Let's see here. Jarzia, $5. I think a lot of times when people are marginalized, they tend to become the bullies later once they've been accepted. It's a social status thing. Absolutely, that's true. And Olivia Julius, $2. Just saying, the spanking line didn't age well.
Well, I think it's fine.
Yeah,
it's based in a period of the past.
Yep.
I mean, it's contextual to their era, not to our era. So I think it holds up exactly the same. Personal.
Yeah. So yeah, Geordi eventually confronts him and like, and he turns around. And he's like, "Oh no, sorry." And he's like, "Hey, what you do in the holodeck on your own time is your own business. Just as long as it doesn't affect your work." It is a little unusual recreating people you already know, though. And then we find out that it's a way to blow off steam. This is in 10 forward now.
And the way he says that is so like, "You guys fucking piss me off. You just really piss me." Like, you know, the way he says it is like, "You guys are the problem here." And that
if I didn't have a holodeck, I would have murdered you by now.
No, almost. Like, you're saying that as a joke, but the way he says it is like, "No, you are the problem." And it's odd to hear that. You know, we haven't been given anything to really push us that. Like, is it just because he can't deal with even the basic negativity, or is the crew more harsh to him than they're showing us? Because I'm not sure. This in particular, I was conflicted how I felt watching it. What do you think?
I don't think they're being any meaner than what we see.
Once you
get into that slot, that mindset, and it just gets worse and worse and worse the way that you interpret things, and you just eventually just keep your head down, and you got to deal with it some way. Trust me, I can relate to this. So
it just seems so strange that just because Geordie tells you to do your job in a stern tone, you're pissed off at him and say have to blow off steam. I know it's an accumulation of things, but like, that is such a small thing, and you should know better. You're an adult. And Dwight isn't young in this role. Like, he's in his late 30s, I'm sure. Like, he's not a young, fresh officer. So, you know what I mean? That's why it's a little bit odd, but I guess you just can't deal with it. Although, back 1 second, I loved some of the artistry of this fight scene. Just a little bit of credit, the way it's all shot, the way it's edited, the way
swords.
It's really expert, and I love Patrick's look. Like, 15 out of 10. You know? Wish we would have more of that version of him, because he's being just Shakespeare man as he loves to be.
Yeah. But yeah, going back, so one of the officers really getting on my back. He's like, "It was me, wasn't it?" But then Geordie's like, "Yeah, I can see this kind of being therapeutic. You should probably talk to Counselor Troi about this." And he's like, And then we get the line of, you know, "You don't know what it's like being afraid of forgetting people's names and not knowing what to do with your hands. I'm the guy that writes things down to say at a party, and when he gets there, looks uncomfortable in the corner, trying to look interested in a potted plant." That line, it always stuck with me because I can relate.
Yeah, it's really this is such a real episode compared to most episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real guy in the lower decks, but a real problem.
Yeah.
Wow, and really adultly as well. You know, it's artfully written. Artfully.
Yeah. I love how Guinan brings them both warm milk.
Yeah.
In that conversation.
It's a nice subtle thing that, yeah.
And a nice look at Geordie, like, yep.
Well, he says, "I didn't know engineers are so creative," and it falls off there. Yeah.
Yeah. But then we get a call from Transporter Room 3. Chief O'Brien needs him down there. He's like, all right, be there in a second. And before he leaves, he says to Barclay, I want you to talk to Counselor Troi as your commanding officer and your friend.
This is not a suggestion.
Yeah.
I also like how Geordie, who obviously is more confident than... Although he didn't used to be. It's strange that he's this confident now, but I guess Command does that. He's like, you're just shy. And Barclay's like, you're just shy. You don't get it.
Yeah.
Shy can be the worst thing in the world to certain people. It's just shy. Oh, you're just afraid of heights, or you're just this. It's like, yeah, but for different people, it can be... Now, it is obviously your problem. Like, oh no. But a smallest thing can be the biggest thing.
Absolutely.
But it just means you shouldn't really be on the Enterprise. You know?
Yeah.
Not until later, anyway.
Anyway, we're down in the transporter room, and the test object is made of pure deuterium. Blah, blah, something. Anyway, beam from pad to pad to pad. He says, watch this. And it turns into...
Into the prop we saw earlier in the season that was destroyed.
Hey, I wasn't going to say that.
Yeah. It's good, though. It is... I mean, talk about canon. It's like referencing its own thing. Yeah. Oh, I love Picard's solution, or his non-solution. Oh no, do a diagnostic! Like, I mean, that was the first thing he said. Yes, sir! Great order, sir! Real helpful solution to the problem, sir! Do the diagnostic. It's like a tech guy saying, defragment.
Did you turn it off and on again?
Yeah.
Is it plugged in? And he's like, we find out it's only transporter room 3 that's affected, and
Yes.
Riker says, so far. And Picard's like, well, we need all the transporters working once we arrive for the plague, what contagion, whatever the hell they're dealing with.
Yeah,
so get on it.
Ironically, of all the times that's happened, I had no real... It didn't sink in what they were doing. In this one, I don't know why. I don't know if you're the same, but it didn't make any imprint on me at all, apart from the samples.
Yeah. But it's the main plot point because it's the samples that are causing all these issues.
But
or the gas, the stabilization gas that you samples. But
for whatever reason, just didn't leave any...
That's what I mean. It's like a throwaway line at the beginning that you just glaze over.
Because there are so many of those.
Yeah.
But often, though, I do remember them. Also, I've been like, oh no, it's this Joe, and you're like, oh yeah. It's weird.
Joso1 puts in £5.
Thank you.
I feel like TNG was ahead of the time as usual. Social anxiety is widely recognized now. By the way, I always thought Data was a comment on autism too. Probably a little bit, yeah. Yeah.
A relatable figure in that spectrum, yeah.
Even Spock, like a savant.
Yeah, absolutely. So then we do get the real scene, and it is very effective having the real and not. It was this episode knows exactly what it's trying to do, and it achieves it well. And the scene has no music, and yet the tension and vibe it creates. Let me help you relax.
Turn the lights down.
Lean
back.
No, Miss Troi. Why is the music brown? No, Troi, it's too much. It's very effective as a scene, considering there's no music and there's no like. You only know what's in the scene to give you emotional weight.
Yeah, I love when he crosses his legs all awkwardly. Like, is this actually happening? This is what?
Well, I was also unfortunately thinking, if I get an erection, this must be my plan, because unfortunately, he's tried sex with her several times in the last week, and now he's in the sex office. Like this is a weird. But you know what I mean? Like this is like, and he says later on. Sorry, that feels more real than you guys. So Holo Diana, I've banged this week. This feels less real than that. Hide the erection. The awkward erection. It like there's levels to this. It's well directed. This scene. It's good.
And Rosetta Allen is here with $2. Foley, you shameless weirdo. How you doing? Yeah, she comes in as you're talking about erections.
Awkward erections. Yeah. Stuart, cross your legs.
Boing.
Oh, it's Telio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god.
But she's like, oh, so breathe in through the nose and slowly out through the mouth. He's like, oh yeah, that's great. And he gets up and just storms out. Well, don't storm out. He stumbles out.
But didn't you love how in the edit, it's just it's great. It's like the choice by Dwight is. And breathe out. Oh, it's such a long pause. It's unnecessarily long. I just like that little moment of it's just he holds it in for a long time because it's meant to be gentle, regular breathing, but he's really holding in that air. I just maybe it's a little touch.
And Brian Straight puts in $5. Troi dressed that way, sits next to you, talking soothingly, and says, "Close your eyes. You'd be skittish too." Very likely. Yeah. Rosetta Allen, $2. I'm drawn to them fully. Drawn to what? Erections? We were talking about erections, and I don't even know anymore.
Next scene, he's left, and now we're on the bridge, and we get Deanna talking to, just a weird situation. But they're both ready, they both understand, they're both nice about it. But this is again the time to do the thing, and Roy comes out and says, "Where's Lieutenant Barclay? He's late already," and everyone's a bit quiet, and he's like, "Where is Barclay? Holodeck 2."
Holodeck 2.
And Joy's like,
I'll get him.
And unfortunately, because we have this is the problem with Command as well, and Riker has this uniquely. He has to deal with everyone on the ship, all 1,000 people, but partially through reputation and through reports. So this is the culmination of this guy has been late every shift this week. He is a problem. And he says, "I've run out of patience," and unfortunately, you can't not relate to this because this is a clearly insubordinate officer as much as you can be. He's like, I'm doing this personally because
the way he says it, he's like, "No, I'll deal with this. I've had it with him."
Yeah.
And I've heard my dad say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not cool. And then Geordi's like, "Yeah, well, I'll go too. Counselor, you should probably come because this is going to hit the fan real quick."
Yeah. And another little subtle thing. We talked about in season 1 the amazing effect of they put the hollow part of the corridor on the practical set to walk through. But the lighting match, I mean, that looks like the corridor. They failed that bit in season 1, but they've got so good. It is so seamless, the holodeck trick, at this point. Credit to you 25 years ago, the lighting team. Seamless, beautiful. Well,
and here's the other thing. Like we always say, when you're in movies, it's the conceit where you get in the car, you go for a 9-hour car ride, and just as you're pulling up to the gate, you're talking about the plan. Yeah. Same thing here. Because as they went to the turbo lift, through a corridor, down to the holodeck, probably not that far, but still the turbo lift ride would have been for this conversation.
2-3 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, where Geordi's like, "I should probably tell you he's been running some unique programs. I don't care what he's been running. I just ran out of patience."
Oh. You feel it. You feel it. I mean, Frakes is not normally aggressive, but
when he gets mad, yeah,
you can pull off professional aggression well, which is why I love the fact that Geordie's so understanding because he was the same professional aggression. But he managed to understand. I think he actually he got Barclay at a certain point, and you can't be mad you can't be as mad at a guy who's crying for help. It's like not intentional flaunting the rules. It's like he doesn't necessarily want to be in those whatever moments. But yeah, we start what we know is going to be a cringy situation, and yes, we see the entire team. Yes, the entire team in there. Fine.
Not the entire team yet. Riker hasn't showed up.
Entire current team, yes.
And this is where Riker says this is a violation of protocol. Crew members should not be replicated in the holodeck. And Geordi's like, "I don't think there's any regulation like that." He's like, "Well, there ought to be."
Yeah.
And program. Well, Riker comes out then.
No, he has a conversation with other Picard, and Picard is like, "Hello, you want to see? I want to see him. Do you? Where's your sword? Oh, no sword. Ah." You will not fight. Oh, yeah. You have some yellow on your belly, and there's a great ha ha ha.
Before he talks to Picard, though, he says end program and erase, and she's like, "Belay that order.
Oh, yes,
that could do considerable harm." And then he talks to Picard, and he's like, "Oh, where's Barclay?" He's like, "Oh, a personal grudge. I must warn you, you challenge the greatest sword in the holodeck."
Yeah, it's a great tete-a-tete. Everyone's having fun here. Obviously, I mean, look at what they're wearing, but it's a good scene. I wish we saw more of these guys. And yeah, they say, "Oh, you won't fight us, then you'll fight the other one." And is the Riker with another subtlety.
With another subtlety.
And now what? For a short unboxing.
Well, this yeah. This has been on order for a while, and I just want to show you guys. Sorry.
Oh, I'm hey, live unboxing, guys. You just swapped video type. Hey guys, welcome to Trekyards. I'm Commander Coggins.
I'm Captain Foley,
Today
and we're going to introduce you to a new crew member, Kevin. It's a baby Yoda.
Now,
anyway,
that doesn't deserve some super chats. I mean, come on, baby Yoda. Okay, if we can get 30 in super chats, Stuart will relinquish his front seat, and baby Yoda will be on screen presenting for the next 5 minutes while Stuart is audio. Okay, if we can get $30, baby Yoda will take over as my captain for a few minutes.
Okay, they don't want that.
Well, let's see.
Jarzia, though, $2. Riker was just mad at being made short.
Well, yeah, there's a couple of things here. Although I didn't quite get he was short. Because the way they film it is perspective. So, like, you know what I mean? It's not quite... I didn't get the sense he was particularly short. But now you're saying it, like, yes, I guess. But it's weird camera angle. I don't think it quite works. But not just that, but he's also speaking a bit more like this. He's a bit higher and less manly. And then Riker's like, what is going on? Well, sir, I must... it's a really nice little subtle touch. It's really small, but those small details do make a difference.
Mm-hmm. I would be kind of annoyed too, to be honest. But yeah. Let's see. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with a healthy fantasy life, says Troi to this.
Well, they're having fun. They're having fun, you know?
Yeah.
Until
she runs into the goddess of empathy. And then Riker looks at Geordi and says, hey, there's quite a healthy fantasy life, wouldn't you agree?
Yes, it's amazing how he shifts from that bastard to, well, hey.
Exactly. And the look on his face, the shit-eating grin.
Yeah. And this is one of those, again, moments in the encyclopedia that I've seen a billion times. The muzzlet moment is like, one of those few moments. Although I don't think the effect of the two Troys works that well.
It doesn't.
I think they were rushed. That's all I think it was. Something about it doesn't. Well, yeah, it's because the eye line is wrong. Oh, I never noticed until today. The other Troy's like, huh! Like, I always thought she just ignored it, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what she says, muzzle it.
Yeah. But they find Barclay, and he is actually asleep. A little bit anticlimactic, but that's the point.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, on the bridge, their velocity increases to warp 7.25. They correct it, put it back down to warp 7, and apparently one of the matter and antimatter injectors locked for a split second. So
it's a damn good foreshadow, unfortunately.
And he messages down to Geordi, and he's like, yo, what's the problem with the injectors? And he's like, I don't know, I'm in the holodeck. Like, well, this is probably not a good time to be in the holodeck.
Yeah, he's like, maybe not the best time to have fun. He's like, ooh. Well, I wasn't trying to, but, maybe go talk to Barclay, he can help. Yeah, I'm trying to, sir.
Yeah.
Trying to. Yep. But then they do get locked. Now they're fully locked. The prom escalates to now the warp speed is increasing, and they try and do the technical approach of computer override, emergency override, all that stuff. But it's not a computer problem. It's a physical. The actual clamps, the actual warp projection stuff, warp matter antimatter stuff is now locked. So the problem can't be fixed up physically undoing them, but I'm sure they're running hot through the plasma and stuff. So now it's a case of, right, we've had the top crew have given an order to fix it. Let's go down to the engineering crew, because they're the ones that are going to fix it. And they bring the same team together, and they start building ideas.
Before they do that, though, the walk in the corridor with Geordi and Barclay, find out that Barclay fell asleep. He'd been working 12-hour shifts, whatever. Yeah. And Geordi's like, you should be able to write the book on Holo Addiction. He's like, I fell in love there once, but when it was time to turn it off and say goodbye, I did. And that's when Barclay says, well, the people that I create in there are more real to me than the people I meet out here. Except maybe you, Commander.
Yep.
And he's like, I need you out here, Reg, now more than ever. So, yeah.
Legitimately sad. And the way they're playing it is like, oh, damn it. You know?
Yeah, it was a good conversation, though.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
Yeah. And the canon that we get, we don't often get it. But yeah, Brahms wasn't that long ago, actually. Yeah. But then the great quickfire solution, quickfire chat with the whole team, and it continues. It's a whole sequence back and forth. But it's interesting. It's good to see them try and solve it.
Yeah. So they recommend dropping out of warp, but they can't. Injectors are stuck open. It's not a computer problem. They're physically jammed open, and the speed is increasing, accelerating out of control, and there's nothing that they can do.
And they give them like 15 minutes. It's really like ticking clock.
Yeah, because that's it. They're approaching warp 9. Estimated time to structural failure: 15 minutes and 40 seconds. Then a bunch of technobabble talk, and then they come to the what's the connection between all of these things: the transporter, the anti-grav, the glass, the injectors now. And then they're exceeding warp 9.4. So Picard gives the order to begin evacuation of the secondary hull, prepare for emergency saucer separation. And Data's like, well, emergency saucer separation at this point will probably rupture the warp field, so it's probably not advised. And we get a 12 minutes till structural failure alert. And then, more of the conversation. None of the systems that are affected are connected to each other in any way. And then that's when Barclay says, well, what if one of us is the problem? So they do a scan for everything not detected by internal sensors, which comes up with 15,000 results.
Doesn't that seem like a odd thing to ask?
Yes.
Because by definition you can't scan for them. And so how do you know they exist? Now, it would have been nice if they'd quantified with computer, how many things can't be detected by the Enterprise's sensor palette? Rather than, it seemed like all sensors, but then how can you detect them? And then how do you find them?
Well, they said anything that the internal sensors don't normally scan for.
Well, but they don't say that exactly, because if they did, they'd say, computer, then scan for them. But they don't. They don't try and scan for them. They have to, they do a very specific, here is a thing at a thing.
Well, but anyway, it's 15,000. Then how many can survive in an oxygen atmosphere? It whittles it down to 300. Then
how many could do the glass trick?
Yes, how many are affected would affect the glass, and it came down to 5.
And that's great.
On screen.
Love the development, and they even do down to 2 because they say, well, that's got half-life, that's is toxic.
Half-life of 15 seconds, so there's no way it can spread around and stuff. Yeah,
it's a really great logical progression, but it just does seem daft to me to say what can the scanners not detect, because that proves that probably imagine asking the computer's transporter, computer, how many things can the bioscanners not clear out? 45,000 pathogens. Yeah, that we know of. It's just an odd thing. Computer, how many things don't you know? 1.3 billion. How do you know that? Shut up. Sorry, Magell. I won't ask again. But it's a good little scene. You feel just as good as they do with the solution. It's an earned success, and that is an achievement.
Yeah. So they find out that Invidium hasn't been used for 100 years for medical purposes, although the race that they're just visiting that gets fine with the medical samples might still use it. So they messed up the bridge. We have a working theory, and Picard's like, working theories are fine, Commander, but we need a solution in 5 minutes. And then we're on it. We're getting there as fast as we can, and Barclay and Geordi are just strolling down the corridor. They're not running. They have 5 minutes till the ship.
Not a good edit.
They're walking a little bit fast, but goddamn.
I mean, okay, look. They are professionals who are trained to be calm under pressure. They could not be on the ship if they panicked. And that signifies the end when no one is panicking, they're going to die in 45 seconds. I get that. but even a brisk walk might save you the 20 seconds you need to not kill everyone. So walking. Now that said, they probably know it takes them less than a minute to, from like they know the ship. They know, less than a minute to get to a turbolift from engineering. Maybe even 40 seconds, and then they know exactly the room. I mean, the ship's not that difficult to traverse if you know like exactly where you're going, really.
No, but still, I'd be booking it.
Yeah, every second. Can you imagine though the bridge is like, Picard's like, Geordie, yes sir. How quick are you running? Running, sir. Well, yes, we're going to die soon. I'm walking. Geordie, no, walk, run, Geordie. Run, Forrest, run, Geordie, run. But yes, they're out the container.
Yes, and they scan for multiple things on the glove, or multiple. If it's here, we'll see it, and then they finally see it. There it is. And then we find out if you remember earlier in the episode, Duffy and O'Brien picked up the ruptured container and became contaminated, and then they spread it to the transporter room and engineering and stuff from there.
And Mencken has the real answer. If they walk any faster, they'll run off the set. It's both that and also they have to say dialogue in the distance of the set. So yeah, it's exactly that. And I like the subtlety here with this. They can't scan for it. That's not what they've done here, because it's unscannable with the sensors. They have got a device that will show a reaction that only that chemical does. And therefore, if the reaction is visible, the chemical is there. Not because of scanning it, but by proving it. It's like putting a fire in a balloon and proving there's a gas. It's like, it's a reaction rather than scanning, because you can't scan for it. Which I like. It's a nice little touch.
Yeah. Mark throws in $2 and says Captain Yoda. And Rosetta Allen throws in $5. One does not have to be panicked to have the good taste to run when you are in massive hurry. Logic, people. Logic. Yeah, that kind of bugged me about that scene, because as they're saying, there's 5 minutes left. We're on our way, Captain. But they're just...
It's a little bit disingenuous with the edit. It'd be fine if it was another part of the episode, but it doesn't quite work there.
We find out if we get it down to minus 200 degrees Celsius, it will become inert.
Yep.
So we're going to flood the chamber with the injectors with some kind of gas. I forget what it was.
A very cool sounding one, actually.
Yeah. And so they get it down to 200, and then the matter injector goes online, but the antimatter injector is still locked. And then after like a couple more seconds, it becomes online, and then they commence warp engine shutdown. And yay, the day is saved.
But again, it's an earned gentle whatever. And I even bought the tension of, will the injectors even be okay enough? They have been through hell today, Yeah,
they did say even if they've been physically damaged now, so they might not go back. So
you're expecting a lot out of something that is damaged. And I actually really appreciate, and like I said, Riker and Picard are 100% calm, even though they are literally could die. That is a mark of a strong commander, strong captain. These are good leaders. What good does it do to panic in this point anyway? So good for them. Good for them.
Then they set course for Starbase 121 for complete system decontamination.
Because they said we got extreme contamination, and they're lucky. Only as much as the ship has been damaged, because this, whatever it is, I forgot what it's called, is such a weird chemical. It just affects things.
Rubidium.
Thank you. Good name. It just affects things. It does different things. Like, you can't predict it. It's basically like a randomizer. It damages stuff. But yeah, it's a nice moment where Geordie credits Barclay, says, we did this, great, good. And you get this nice sense of, you know what, yeah. And this weird shade of Barclay and Joy's uniforms look like different colours.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
But why is one yellow and one is the gold? It's really
because one's custom fit for Dwight, but he's brand new, so it's a new uniform. Geordie's been wearing his for the rest of the season.
Yeah, because it does not look as nice in this light.
Yeah.
That's true. That is very true.
Brian Straight, $5. Shouldn't one of the injectors going off be enough? I mean, what would the matter be interacting with if the antimatter was off? Yeah.
But you wouldn't want it interacting with the leftover antimatter. you know, you don't. The reaction is stable at a very certain ratio. Let's not mess up that ratio. I get what you're saying, but let's not rock the boat there. So we get this last moment. Reg walks across all of the people, none of which are his friends, except one maybe. He's like, my friends, I've known you all. I've slept with you all in different ways. Because I was experimental in those holodeck days. Michael Dorn, I'm sorry you only had 2 lines this week. I'm sorry, Mr. Dorn.
It would have been funny if Riker stood up beside Picard and Riker was like another head taller than he usually is. Because he's compensating for making him shorter earlier. But would have ruined the whole, is this real or not? Because he's saying goodbye, you know, I'm going to miss you all. Yeah. It's a hard decision that I've come to, that I got to leave you guys. So it's like, oh, is he leaving the ship? What's going on?
I do think it, for what it's trying to be, it does well. Problem is, he's acting confident in his confident voice. I know you're meant to think, he's learned to be confident, but he's not there yet, you know? So I didn't for a second think he wasn't, you know, confident. But that's okay. It's a good little nice end, and then he says goodbye, and then you get a nice shot of the holodeck, the thing free, and a very big holodeck. He's right in the corner, and
erase all programs filed under Reginald Barclay except program number 9,
which is a nice little way of making the line even cleverer. And he walks out, and he may or may not be healed. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. So there you go, Holo Pursuits. We've hollowed, we've pursuited, and Dwight is a great actor, great addition. I definitely wish he was in it more.
Yeah.
But he's always a treat when he's in it, and the fact they brought him back in Voyager was always a good thing. Always.
And one of the movies.
Yeah, in a very natural moment.
So, that's the part of the show where you guys put in your super chat scores of what you rate this out of 10 for the season and for TNG. I'll read those when we're done talking. Hijalti Sigerson puts in, he joins the channel at the rank of captain, so welcome, dude. Captain.
Captain!
Nice to see you.
You're helping us fly the ship so well. Thank you. Dude, that's amazing. Thank you.
And regular chat, if you want to put in your scores, then Commander will read those later.
Yep.
But right now,
for $20 more to end off. We had a nice gentle one today, but I felt gentle. I think you felt gentle, which was a nice gentle time chatting about a gentle episode with imminent doom and destructing the entire ship. But that's okay. But $20 more would be great. So, Stuart, what is your final thoughts, and have they changed, having done our sort of detailed go through as they often do?
I wouldn't say they changed. I like this episode. You get introduction to a great character, and you get to see the cast and crew doing stuff they don't normally do with the holodeck stuff, which is fun. I can relate to this one a lot with what Barclay says, as far as being shy and, you know. So this one definitely is one that I enjoy, and like I said, I can relate to it, which makes it a very important episode for me. So, but yeah, the whole thing with the Invidium and the problem with the ship is very much, it's just one little thread throughout until the end where it kind of gets balled up a little bit. It's not really much of a plot point. It seems like not much of a plot point as it's gone through anyway. But I kind of like that in a way, but I never remember that when I think about this episode. I just think about the holodeck scenes. Yeah, and it's a good introduce to a great character, that recurring character in multiple series and stuff, so that's great. So, as for the score, out of season 3, I'm going to give this a 8 out of 10. It was quite enjoyable. And as for TNG, all TNG, I'll probably give it a 6.5. A little bit better than average, but not one that, you know, I don't know how to say it. Yeah, anyway, 6.5. That's all. I'm just going to go with that. So there you go.
Cool, yeah. Now, this is definitely a good episode. but I don't think it reaches the extreme quality level. There isn't, even though all the holodeck stuff is fun, it doesn't have that sharp edge of that was brilliant. It's missing something, and even the commentary, it's so relatable, but it doesn't ever go to extra level. This again would have been an interesting Orville episode. It could allow you to take it that level deeper to really show it. That said,
they did that with Mortis's episode.
They did. Yeah, no, they did. Yeah. But hey, great for Dwight coming in with absolute storm. Geordie, great. I mean, he can pull off an episode, and considering he can barely see, and he's delivering great dialogue so confidently. I mean, again, LeVar, he always impresses, and he was definitely one of the standout of like never not solid. You know, it's hard to think of a bad Geordie episode. You know, in terms of acting. I like the Lower Decks feel. It's definitely the first of its kind of that sort, and it works tremendously well. I wish they'd take advantage of the specialist format and had the engineering team actually be engineering team we've seen previously, like Sonia, the actual engineer they've already introduced, and someone else. That would have been much cooler. I know a higher paycheck, and obviously Whoopi and Dwight, that's why I said bottle show, because they're taking up most of the budget. That's fine, like the extra budget, but it would have been great to actually have the real team back. Even like O'Brien, you know, if it'd been O'Brien, Wesley, Geordie, Dwight, and Sonia, I mean, you can imagine the dynamic between those four would be great, or those five. But it's missing that level of really, really good. It's one of those classic, it's a good TNG with good characters, but it's not the best story, it's not the best execution. But it's good, as your scores, I think, represent. It's probably not well suited in this season, because it's just easily better episodes all throughout the season, but it's a better overall TNG because it's a really strong, like it's a strong basic. So I'm going to say for this season, a 7, because it's better than. Oh, that was your score. No, 6.5. It's best than average, but it's not one of the season's best. Because the season's got lots of good stuff, you know. And actually, all of TNG, I'm going to give it 6.5 as well. I'm going to match you. So it's better in all of TNG, not as good in this season. If this was like last season, again, it'd be an 8. You know, season 1, it'd be a 8. Yeah. But yeah, better than average. Yeah.
Cool. Well, Jersey has sent us a PayPal.
Oh,
so
yes,
I'll start off with that. Send us with the PayPal score, and then I'll read the Super Chat scores.
And I'm seeing at least $20. That is brilliant, guys. That does make a difference. Thank you.
So Jersey has sent us $6.50 Canadian. I'll give this one an 8 out of 10 for season 3, 7.5 for TNG.
Okay.
It's a fun, memorable episode, and it touches on issues of social anxiety and addiction quite well, and they did a great job executing it. As someone who was more on the introverted side growing up, Barclay was very relatable. I'm glad they made him a recurring character.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that, yeah. Eugene, 2,000 rubles, which is awesome.
Which is
Thank you.
$25. So he did the 20
Nice.
by himself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
10 out of 10. Acting characters, peak TNG. The episode is so comfy. Through the year, I've rewatched it 10 plus times.
Wow.
Through the year, is that just this year or through the years?
Things I get why you're saying that. It's just missing that, like the fact that you said you forgot about the main destruction storyline. It gets lost so easily in this episode.
It does, yeah.
And that's a problem, which means you remember. Oh, this is the Sheldon episode. No, the Barclay episode. What happened? Oh, he
Is addicted to the holodeck.
Yeah, you don't remember the rest of it, and that's the
Well,
problem.
as you said, when they showed next time on, they didn't even talk about the holodeck addiction. They talked about the problems with the ship.
Yep. Because exactly. It is neat. I mean, you can see where the budget went, the right places. But if they had more budget, they could have shown an event something more drastic, a bit more memorable. You know, kind of like for how much it's worth. You remember Naked Now with the absurd storyline stuff. There's a frozen ship at the start. The fact they fling an Obeth into an asteroid, like memorable effect shots. You know, you remember the stuff that happens in that one because it's memorable. Nothing in this episode, but it's missing that. But, you know, yeah.
Yeah. Ozzy Medeiros, $10.
Oh, thank you.
This episode gets 8 out of 10. Barclay loves plan. What? 10 out of 10 for Trekyards, Skeleton Hands.
Thank you.
And Hajelti Sigerson.
It's in $10.
Yes.
Thank you.
Season 3, 7 out of 10.
Okay.
TNG, 6 out of 10.
There we go. Right. No,
Just arrived for the final scene breakdown. Watching it yesterday and liked it more than I remembered, as I have never liked the character of Barclay.
I think, in a last note from me, I think I didn't like the episode more, but I respected it more in this viewing. By its very adult writing. It just isn't the best episode of TV, but the writing is good. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Aravid Sonder puts in $5.
Thank you.
I like the way they continued Reg and Troi and Voyager. Yeah.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. He oh dear, that actually has a whole different meaning. Remember, the first time we meet them, they're having holo sex.
Wow. Dilithorian puts in $10.
Wow.
7 out of 10 for season 3. 8 out of 10 for TNG.
Wow.
Must have been better as a two-parter.
Might have
been better as a two-parter.
Hey, we get as a 9-parter. Actually, thank you very much.
Yeah.
But seriously, how genius was it to bring in him for Voyager? Like, a bit of the Alpha Quadrant. What are we gonna do? Barclay. Brilliant.
You know what would have made it better, though, this episode? Is to have Barclay figure out the solution, and on his way to engineering to help solve the problem, decides he needs to stop into the holodeck for a few minutes because he's addicted. And so he's got the solution, the ship's in danger, and he still takes time out to do that. It's not like he knew the answer. He was there sleeping because he'd done a 12-hour shift trying to figure it out. That's a little bit different than...
Yes.
So I think that would have made it... And if the ship danger thing would have been ramped up halfway through the episode, instead of at the very end,
Like
it was literally the last...
Like starting at warp 1, and they can't stop. Like,
Yeah.
we are going fast at every... They've done that in another episode, but I absolutely
So we know
agree.
there's a problem. Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, I like where you're going there, but that's the difference with TNG and later Trek, the more graphic dark Trek, is that if that was what happened, then he's an actual addict who actually has a scratching, well, we've got a problem, man, and he's making a conscious choice to, you know what I mean? That's him being a villain in the story, as opposed to he just felt like they had to make him, they had to make him what he was. But you are right. The way he solves it is part of a team, and he's not the genius that solves it. He works with the team that solves it as a team. It might be part of his idea, but it's a group effort,
Yeah. Or even making the Invidium, affect his brain as well, so it ramps up his addiction.
I mean, that is later with the mind lasers.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's some fun fish.
Ozzy Madero's $5. Barclay loves it when a plan comes together.
There we go. Still misspelt, but now we know what you mean. Thank you.
Yes.
That's good. And Katie loves Reg. Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
He is. Yes. So there you go.
Good stuff. And Guitarra says, it's not about the budget and cash and throwing scenarios on screen. It's about the human story of the crew of the Enterprise it's always been. Yes, but it's still a TV episode. Because if that was true, then you wouldn't have to have a well-paced story. You'd have two people in a room talking. And that would be the best Star Trek. It's about a narrative, about a story, about pacing, about acting. It's about everything put together. Do you know what I mean? And Best of Both Worlds has that real sharpness to it. I actually had a debate with someone last week. They said, yes, his Enterprise is an action episode. I ended up disagreeing. I said it's not. There's no action till the end, and it's very minor. It's an alternate universe vibe episode. Tension. It's not actually an action story.
Yeah.
2 minutes of action at the end that's poorly done does not make it an action. I mean, what do you think? Because I always called it, I guess, but I don't think it is now.
Just off the top of my head, I would say it's an action one, but then when you actually think about it, there's a lot more to it than that, and there's not a lot of action. It is only at the end. But if you just were firing off episode titles and you had to
Yes.
say action, thriller, whatever,
Yeah, exactly.
I'd say action with that one.
Because it's the build-up, it's the tension, it's the setup, it's the drama. Like, you associate Wargainen with action. Well, he's just telling a woman in a room, you know? But it you know, it's kind of like the Tapestry. I think of that as a slightly action episode, even though it's talkie with the same scene played twice with action. Like, but that's the moment you remember, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, there we go, guys. Final super chat slot. God, if I had another S, it'd been 3 S's in a row. Alliteration. Super chat
Yeah.
slot doesn't equate to final. Whatever you want. I don't know.
Dead Air is good.
What's the next one? I just watched the trailer. Oh yes, Toys. The car show. We finally see a very T Disruptor as being one of the 4 only in the world, universe, the most killer weapon in the world, apart from 5 episodes ago where they used it randomly. That's in DS9 I think a couple of times as well. It's like, don't use an existing prop that you've already got as a specialist prop. Because it's thrown back in the bin, like the prop bin,
Yeah.
to be used again. Yeah. But that's okay.
There should be a prop bin for reuses. Modified. You can use it, but modify it bin. Spare parts bin.
Yeah. Well, it'd be fun to. It would have been great to see the model shop in TNG with like the Greebly bin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God, I'd love to see. I mean, I know I've talked to you about this previously, but I'd love to see you design a ship, and even do like a kit bash version. Like, take 3 model kits of Trek ships, different eras, and then now you've got details. Put them together. Use Greeblies, you know. Then pull, you know, here's 5 trains. You know, do what you will, because it's totally within your skill set. I'd love to, you know, because just like with when I do the fan films, when you're actually put in the position to actually do it, it changes the ball game of how difficult and how real it feels. Like I said to someone the other day with you, I think it was about, they said something about designing their own ship, and they were like, well, how many crews on Horizon? I'm like, it's not important for the story, so I didn't invent it. How many plasma conduits? It's not important for the story. Didn't need it for the script. And that's what they did in the show. You know?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous how quickly you go into that mindset when you actually do part of the production. It's very strange.
And the Lothorian says, I am looking for Geordie's black wrist cuffs in the shot. Same blocking as yesterday's Enterprise, except Guinan is Barclay. Yeah, that's what I said. They should cut him out, edit him out of this one, and put him in yesterday's Enterprise. So it's a perfect episode almost. That's the only one flaw in it, really.
I mean, they could have CGI'd his collars. I mean,
I know, but
if they really wanted to. But it's such a nice Easter egg of fuck up.
yeah. A lot of people still haven't seen it. In our chat at the end of that one, somebody's like, I don't see the issue. What's wrong with his uniform? It's like, ugh.
Well, it is very subtle. I mean, because it's not a long.
It is.
It's a shot.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Guys, last super chat, and then we can head off. And this week we're not going to do as many reviews this week. We've got other plans, or at least plans to have plans. Yeah.
So yeah. It's gonna look weird on playback.
Yeah, or just us in general.
Anyway, guys. Oh, there it is. Agility stickers and how much is that?
Oh, I know that off it.
Oh, it's 3,000. He'll look.
Oh, that's a big red number. Big orange number.
Orange.
Wow, $20.
Awesome. Thank you. Finally, I have joined and started to give something back.
Aww.
I've watched your content for years and follow all your reviews. If not live, then after the fact. I love watching TNG again with you guys. Thanks for doing that. Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and being part of the community. You know,
And now he's a captain too.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to. I have to salute you. You can just part of your club.
I can
my club.
just shake his hand. Hey, how's it going,
Yeah,
man?
I should be like, yes, sir. Get some tea, yes, sir. No, thank you. I mean, you know, it's nice with this sort of thing. We don't know who's watching and who's enjoying now, and also in the playback after. So it's great to have people who are, you know, enjoying the content and helping to get their minds off the world, because this is a good activity to do. And it only takes a couple of hours of our day, Stuart, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Yeah. Sometimes we don't want to do it.
But we owe it to you, and we're still here.
Yep. And we'll be here for you forever, because we love you. And on that note, hit the button, Samuel. Hit the button, Samuel.
Oh, bye, guys.
Bye.